Welcome to the final little chat on this subject of bindings, cursings and hexings. And today we are looking at breaking a hex, undoing a hex, however you want to say it. Breaking, undoing, whatever. So, the same as with cursing and curses, I feel that it doesn't happen like in the films and the movies and things every 5 minutes to us or by us. Are we likely to be on the end of a hex? Most of the time I'd say no. Similar to with cursing, I think as magical practitioners, we have our shields up, we have our protection in place. There are going to be those times when we have let that slip, so something could get through. But I think the majority of the time, they're just going to ping off. They're not going to actually have any lasting effect. There's that comment that Aidan Quinn makes in the film Practical Magic when he's talking to Sally Owen in his role. And he says, curses only have power if you believe in them. And that is very true. He then goes on to say, and I don't believe in them. So yeah, that just came into my head. Sorry. Going on a slight aside there and thinking about the film. But yes, cursing and hexing for malevolent reasons, I don't think happens that often. And I think if it is done, it only works if we know about it. Most of the time, as I say, I think it'll just ping off us. Yeah. However, there will be times when something will stick. A lot of the time it could be what we're doing to ourselves. And I think I've said that when I was doing the curses video. That I think most of the time we're our own worst enemies and that we actually do it to ourselves by our negative self-talk. That's my opinion, obviously. So, now in two of Rachel's books, so in her Spells and Charms, she gives one thing. In her Hoodoo book, she gives another. So I'm going to give them both to you. These can be done both to break one that you have done, as well as breaking one that you feel has been put on you. You just alter it slightly for your intent. So if it's one that you've done that you want to undo, this is how you could do it. If it was from the previous, if it was a jar hex jar bottle, then obviously you could unbury that from your bucket or wherever you've buried it and dismantling it as you say, this hex is now finished. The candle one where you burnt, couldn't do that, which is where these come in. And the blueberries, birds have had them. So you can't actually go and pick them off the path outside the person's house. But there we go. So, as I say, you can use both of these as something to undo what you've done, but also to undo or to send back what you feel has been sent to you. Just vary it slightly in how you do it. So for the first one, let me make sure that I've got this. So you're breaking the link with this. So you'll need a sprig of rosemary, a piece of paper, a red pen, scissors, a piece of red cloth, paprika or chili pepper, and red cotton. So you keep so if this is to break it and return it to them, what Rachel then suggests you do is that you keep the rosemary on your person whilst you're working this hex, unhex. Write the name of the person who has hexed you on the piece of paper. If you don't know who sent this to you, but you know, you can just feel that some energies around you that you don't want there, you can just put enemy mine or my enemy, whichever. With the red pen, you draw a doll shape around the name and cut it out. Lay the paper doll face down on the red cloth and sprinkle it with paprika or chili pepper or both. Tie the cotton around the middle of the doll and then wrap it in the red cloth. Hold it in your hands and say, "Enemy of mine, your power is gone. The hex is broken, the spell undone. Enemy mine, go away. So shall it be from this day. This spell shall last until your apology sets you free by me. This is my will, so mote it be." So you're literally, they've hexed you, you're sending a hex back, but you're also breaking that hex that they've sent you. So Rachel then goes on to say that you perform that chant 7 nights in a row, then unwrap the doll, tear it into 9 pieces and burn it. Scatter the ashes somewhere away from your home and dispose of the red cloth. So as I say, that would be very easy to adapt, in that if it was a hex that you'd sent and you wanted to bring it back, you wanted to undo a hex you've done, I probably wouldn't use the paprika and the chili pepper. I would possibly use lavender, because you're trying to smooth things out. Maybe chamomile to calm things. Maybe rose petals, especially pink ones, for not romantic. So red roses are very romantic. So if you had some white or pink rose petals, they would work instead of the paprika and the chili pepper. For me, I'm talking about me. I'm just talking out loud. As with all of this, make it your own. The sprig of rosemary I would still keep on me whilst I was doing it. Instead of red pen, I would probably use either green or blue. And then for the chant, I'd actually say something along the lines of, you were an enemy of mine. I now release this spell as I bind you. Yeah, I'd have to think about that. Yeah, would you bind the doll or would you just burn it? Probably just burn it. Yeah. So adapt it. Yes. I had thought, believe it or not, I had thought about this, but I'm changing my mind as I'm going along. Which is why with any of this, you need to take time doing them. You can't just go at them like a bull in a china shop, because what you want to do an hour ago, a day ago, a week ago, may not be what you actually end up doing. So yeah, I wouldn't bind or put in the cloth the little doll shape with the name. I would literally just say that I was releasing them from the hex that I had sent them, and then I would burn the doll shape bit of paper. So yeah, so I would leave out the red cloth and the red cotton, and I would change the paprika and the chili pepper to something softer, and I would change the colour of the pen. So yeah, so there's one that you could do, to either unhex yourself or unhex, draw back a hex that you've done. So in Rachel's Hoodoo Folk Magic book, Her suggestion is for a mojo bag, which is just a small little bag that you carry around with you. And her suggestions are either red, purple or black flannel or material, a cord to tie it up with, a piece of High John the Conqueror root, a piece of agate crystal, a pinch of St. John's wort, and a piece of rosemary. And she does start this mojo bag chapter by saying that when the slaves were originally doing these hoodoo spells, they wouldn't have had access to crystals or anything like that. So we use them because we have them. If you don't have them, then don't use them. Use what you have, because that's what these were all about. And literally, you just put the material, or if it's already a bag, just put the bag in front of you, place each item into or onto it, saying that you want to be unhexed. That's it. And then you tie it up and you'd carry it around with you for as long as you feel that you need. She also gives a feeding powder. So a feeding powder is, your mojo bag needs feeding to keep the energy. So you've asked it to break this hex. It's going to need some energy. So the feeding powder contains hyssop, rosemary, angelica root, rose essential oil, and frankincense essential oil. Grind all the ingredients together and make a fine powder, and then pinch into your bag every day, every third day, every week, for as long as you feel that you need that mojo bag, until you feel that your hex has been broken. Now, going on the internet, as I've already said, in all the others, very useful. We're very lucky to have this medium now. Some of people have been very, very generous with letting us know what they have tried, what they do, what they would do. Some of it is very good, some of it is okay, and some of it is just... With all of them, even if they are really good, make it your own. Just because somebody has done A, B, C, D, E, and F doesn't mean that you can't do C, A, B, D, F, or change out something because it doesn't resonate with you, or change out the ingredients because you don't have them and they actually come from South America and will cost a fortune to get here. Use what you have. One that I did find that I actually quite liked, and I have adapted it for me, is to use a candle. And it doesn't matter, use whatever colour candle suits you. You are unhexing, remember. So I would tend to use a bright candle or a white one. So depending on what you felt you needed. And again, you can adapt this to do both. So if it's to break a hex that you've made, you'll pick the candle colour to go with the opposite of why you made the hex in the first place. If it's one that you think's been directed at you, then possibly you might not know the full details. So either go with a colour that just jumps out at you, or use white. You're going to cleanse the candle, hold or anoint it, whilst telling the candle of the hex you feel has been put on you, or the hex that you have done and that you want to undo. Now, the interesting thing is, you could also use this to hex. Like I said, this is a subject that I find fascinating, because hexing is both. It all depends on your intent. So you can use this spell both ways. You could use it to hex and to unhex. You're then going to use a pin or a thorn to inscribe the name of the person you believe has hexed you into the candle, or the person you want to hex. And place it into the holder. Light the candle, and as the candle starts to melt down, say something along the lines of, so as the fire do melt the wax, and wind blows smoke away, so in the presence of the Lord, the wicked shall delay, the wicked shall delay. I can see some people now raising an eyebrow. Remember what I said in the last video. Hexing comes mainly from powwow magic, hex magic, folk magic. A lot of the people who originally did this were Lutheran, strict Protestant, so Lutheran, Presbyterian, that sort of thing. A bit like with hoodoo, the slaves used the Psalms as powerful spells. So saying in the presence of the Lord, the wicked shall decay, the wicked shall decay, to me still makes sense, because it doesn't say what Lord, for a start. For them, it would have been God, as in the Protestant Christian God, but it doesn't have to be. It's in the presence of the Lord. And I just find it the whole subject very, very interesting. You may have noticed. Oh, and I did find the name of that book. I have put it in the previous blog, but it hasn't got Boscherel in it at all. It's called The Long Lost Friend, a 19th century American grimoire. It was published in 2012. It is now available on some sites. So I will probably be getting that, I think. But yes, I hope you've enjoyed this little mini series. Please do leave some comments on your thoughts, and yeah, I just hope it's been of interest, and I'll see you again.